Hey guys, Jason here at Cooperative Motorworks and Motorhome Rehab Ranch. Today, as kind of a tail on to what Jim's video about waking up the Onan generator, I'm going to go a little more in depth on the Onan generators and what you can do to keep the original Onan 6000s and the 4000s if you have, a 23. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things on it today, and I know that I have a few issues with this one behind me. So I'm going to talk about how you can fix those issues if you have the same issues on yours. So first thing I'm going to show you is what Jim covered in his video, where we're going to prime it and we're going to run this thing with a jumper wire. And I'm going to get it fired up running off of that. It should run. I've had it running just a couple of days ago, so I think this will run. It does not make power, or it didn't last time I checked. So I'm going to show you how you can check to see if your generator is making power. And then if it's not making power, I'm going to show you some ways that you can wake the generator up, try to actually start making power with it. I'm also going to show how to fix the oil leak if it's leaking out of the front main seal. I'm going to do an oil change on it, and I'm going to change the spark plugs. I'm going to gap the plugs, and I'm going to show you how we can do new spark plug wires. So I'll try to get you some close-ups and maybe some time-lapse videos of all of that. I'm also going to show you inside the coach, we're going to do the generator prime circuit. That's going to be something that's going to basically take the place of this jumper wire that you've seen where Jim showed that. It's a good idea to have that so that if your generator sits for a couple of weeks and all the fuel evaporates out of the carb, you can use that prime circuit before trying to run it, because with the normal circuit board and how this thing is set up, when you're cranking it, it starts giving it fuel. So if the carb is empty, if the float bowl has no fuel in it, it's going to take a while to get that prime back up, and so it'll run. But if you prime it first, it should save you a lot of time cranking it over, which should save your starter from having to be replaced as often, and should make everything run better. It also has the added advantage of being kind of a limp home mode. If your circuit board does fail, you can run it with this prime circuit. It's not advised to do that because now you don't have the oil safety switch, so you could be running it without oil and it can do permanent damage to the engine. So we don't want that to be the permanent solution for this. You can get a new circuit board, and I'm going to be installing one on this generator to hopefully fix it so it'll run off of the circuit board. But it is an option for, if you short term the board goes out and you need AC just to get home, safety is sometimes better than the generator. And if your generator completely fries, there are options. We'll probably talk about that later with a brand new generator that can go in place of these. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, as you've seen in Jim's video, or maybe you haven't, I have a jumper wire here. I have hooked it up to the coil. We're going to do a close-up later. I don't want to pick up the camera right now, so you'll probably see that close-up while I'm talking. But I'm going to hook this up to the coil wire, and I'm going to hook it up to the starter main wire. And you'll hear it, probably with my microphone, make some noise from the fuel pump. And as it primes the fuel pump, it should start making a slightly different noise. Let's see what it does. All right, so you can hear it started loud and then it got a little quieter. I can still hear the fuel pump running right now. I'm going to try and hit the start button here. It may get a little noisy. All right, so my starter hung there, and that might be part of the problem with my circuit board. If that happens, then that can damage the starter. We'll probably leave that in there. That's not something that was supposed to happen, but Basically what happened is the engine started and the starter kept engaging. So I took the jumper off of it to let the generator die off, and then I had to hit the button again to get that to stop starting. So hopefully that's not going to happen again. It may, and it may even wear out the starters. I may have to replace the starter here today. I believe that the starter's only hanging because the grease that's inside the solenoid is probably a little sticky because it hasn't been run in so many years that it's probably keeping it engaged, but it could also be the circuit board. So I'm not really sure what the diagnosis is on that. Maybe replacing the circuit board will fix that, but I'm going to try and start it here again and see if I can do it without the starter keeping engaging, and then we can I can show you how I'm going to check if it's making power. All right. Also, for when I'm checking for power, I have a multimeter and I'm going to set it to AC current, and I have it hooked up to ground, and then I have a probe with a pointy tip that I'm going to use to probe the wires that put out power from this. So we'll get close-ups of that. All right. Cross my fingers. Hopefully this will work this time without it dragging the starter. All right. There, it's primed. And here we go. Yeah, so I might be replacing the circuit board before I continue with this video. So we'll probably stop it there because I don't want to check for power while the starter's engaged. So we're going to see what we can do about that. I may also replace the starter to see if that's the issue, and then we'll pick up from there. All right. All right, so we're going to close out this video and a little bit early. We found a couple of things during this that I have to still fix. So, and we're going to break this video up into a couple of sections. So for this first video, you're going to, you've seen what you saw so far. I'm going to be replacing the starter as I do the oil seal. So I'll show videos on how to do a starter replacement and some of the other parts that are going to have to be replaced. You'll see more videos coming up with this series, I guess we'll call it, that will tackle you'll see inside the coach when we put the prime circuit in, and the changing the oil and just general tune-up. So spark plug gapping and stuff like that, and new plug wires. So we're just going to do a couple of different videos that cover each thing, so you don't have to watch an hour-long video of everything that I'm doing to this generator. It ended up being more than I thought it was going to be, so we'll make it a few videos, and hopefully that'll not be as hard to watch all in one sitting. Also, you may have noticed in the videos up to this point, anytime I turned my head with this microphone, it might have gotten a little louder, so I'm trying to sit here stationary so it's not getting super loud or super quiet. We're going to try to get a headset microphone at some point. I'm probably going to add that to our Amazon wish list of things you could get if you really don't like the volume changing a whole bunch during the videos, because I didn't realize it did that until I was watching the video up to this point. So we're going to try to fix that, and I will, we'll get more information. So if anything that hasn't been covered in this first video, expect that it'll probably be covered in the next 2 or 3 videos, whatever it ends up being. But if you have questions on this first video, or anything that you think may have, should have been covered so far, or anything like that, feel free to ask them. I'll try to make sure that they're covered in the next couple of videos on the Onans. And then after we get this series wrapped up, we'll probably show you the brand new Onan generator that you could get in place of this. So if you don't want to go through all the hassle that I'm going through, that might be a good way to bypass all of that, and you have a brand new generator that will probably do a little bit better. So I think that's pretty much it for this one, and I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you guys will enjoy the next couple.